Omar, I only know you probably a year ago, the first time I met you maybe, or even this year in Bancha. And when did you get started in sheepdog trials?
First time I started in Barras, that's nearly back 2.5 years ago. And actually John Brennan, he say, why don't give it a go? And I remember I asked him how I was gonna start. He said, just bring with you €7 and that's it. And he gave me the location of Barras and I drove and I hooked since, I got the burger from John Brennan and I hooked since.
And how did you meet up with John Brennan in the very first place? Or how did you even get a dog?
John Brennan, I know John Brennan 10 years ago. I was breeding easy care sheep and he was looking for a ram. And he come to my farm and he picked 2 rams at that time. And he gave me a check and I say, you don't have a cash? And he say, I'm John Brennan, everybody know me. And I said, give me the check. And we become friends that time, and we are since friends and we meet all the time. And I bought a sweep from Moran.
Yes.
And he bred by Bentham Williams sweep,
Yes.
He's come back. And he was a good dog, and there is a potential in him. And John Brennan, he saw him and he say, look, there is a potential, try in this dog.
Yeah.
And he gave me some tips, and I start changing the training from working dog to trial dog.
Yes.
And I start with him. And when you start first time, you have mistakes.
Yes.
And you do this mistake and you do this mistake and you see the others what they're doing. And you learn. And I hooked since and that's what I'm doing now.
And were you nervous then going to the stake for the very first time?
No, first time no, because there's no pressure. Whatever I was gonna do,
Yeah.
I didn't care. I just won't care. My dog, he will reach to the end and bring the sheep. That's what I was aiming. And slowly, you start developing. You want to go to the first hill, to the second one. You go to the fetch. Pinning the sheep and
Yeah.
developing.
And Omar, but you're from Iraq.
Yeah.
And so, did you have sheep in Iraq, right?
Oh yeah. There is lots of sheep in Iraq. There is massive sheep and bigger scale sheep.
Yeah.
Like people, they own maybe 4,000, 5,000. Some big farmers 15,000 sheep.
Oh,
yeah, they go on big scales. They have they own valleys and they let them go wild.
Yes.
And they gather them just for shearing. They gather them for lambing. It's different. But they have dogs. But they have 2 types of dogs. The dogs will stay with the sheep all the time.
Yes.
For a protection.
Yes.
They live with the dog. They live with the sheep.
Yes.
We have coyotes.
Oh yeah.
And we have.
I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, we have wolves.
Oh.
Yeah. Therefore, these keep protecting the sheep all year round.
Yes.
And we have another one. It's kind of like hunt away. They keep barking.
Yes.
And they push
Yeah.
the sheep.
So it's a little bit like our hill farm, and then just that they have the predators, but it's a little bit the same.
It's the same. There is a gather. There's a they shear them, they dose them, exactly the same in here. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you had sheep before you came to
Yes,
Ireland?
we had sheep.
Yeah. So it wasn't a big jump then, because I often wonder, sheepdogs, training the sheepdog is one part, but then understanding the stock is another part, and I always wonder how people get used to that. But you kind of had that bit already.
Yeah. I'm a grower in a farm.
Yeah.
And that's farm things and sheep and this animals. It's in my blood.
Yes.
And when I come in here, I was always aim to go back.
Yes.
And I start with 4 acres.
Yes.
And with 5 sheep. And I start expanding slowly,
Yeah.
And now I have 20 acres.
And now you have too many sheep. You can't go home, you have to stay here.
20 acres plus I graze some lands as well over it. And I have around 85, 90 sheep now. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the sheepdog trials, of course, if you went home to Iraq, you wouldn't have any sheepdog trials. So was it hard when you got started now, when you were trying to learn how to train dogs? Who helped you, or how did you find out, or did you read books or videos or what?
No, I start with Moran first thing. That's back in 2009.
Yeah.
And he gave me first dog, it's called Juno by J.R. Griffin.
Yes.
From Wales, and he got the pups. He got 3 pups, and he gave me 1, and I tried with her, and and we worked together, and I started doing training. and I see videos and I want to copy the videos. And that's what I start, you know, copy the others how to do it. You know, I didn't know, nobody, you know, guide me, you know, you need to do this, or you need to train this, or you have a circle pin. No.
Yes.
I was watching people what they're doing, and I was copying them. That's basically what I,
That's
you know,
brilliant.
and develop like this.
And so what are your plans now going forward? Will you get, like, you'll be in the nurseries now, if we get the nursery trials going again, have you dogs there to run in the nurseries, or are they too old, or?
I have now 2 dogs for the nursery. I have one, he's retired from the nursery, he's nearly 4 years old now.
Yes.
And I have one from John Brennan now, by Jock and Rose. And I'm planning to get one by Dan McLachlan Dan, and he will be ready for the nursery hopefully this year.
Yeah, that sounds good. And you're like the rest of us now, we've no open trials. What are you doing with yourself, or do you ever go around and see handlers, or what do you do for a bit of fun now?
I go visit Para.
Yeah.
You know, we go doing some trainings together sometimes, and John Brennan all the time, and we keep talking on the phone all the time. He tells me all the stories. If I have a problem, he will give me some tips, and I go with the neighbors. You know, the neighbors, they using quads.
Yes.
And after they say, you know, they get lazy with the quad because they saw my dog working well.
Yes.
And they calling me, can you gather the sheep?
Yeah.
And I'm using this
Yes.
to develop the dog.
Yes.
In your field, in new sheep, in new places, in new pins, in new gates, in new scenarios. And that's what I'm developing now, you know, because you're stuck now with the same field, the dog, they will get rusty, you know. You have to expand.
To go a bit brain dead in the same place all the time.
Yeah.
And Omar, if you had advice for somebody who was thinking about going out to start trials and all, what would you tell them? Like, what's if they were thinking about doing it, what's the best thing they could do, or how would they help themselves?
The best thing is, Barry, from my experience, is train your dog. Don't go and jump the gun and buy a 10,000 or 15,000 dog, or even 6,000 dog, and you don't know what you do with him. You know, start with a dog, maybe 500 euros, a good breed puppy, you know, and you start train that, and you develop with him. You know, he will go one step, you will go up with him one step. It's a learning curve. And how you learn? By training your dog.
Yeah, hold on for a second. Well, see, Omar, I often ask people for a bit of advice like that, but I think what you just said there is invaluable. Well, it was invaluable for me, because early in play I had a common dog, and he hadn't much style, he had no balance. My friend Norman said, he's no balance, get rid of him, we'll get you a better one. And I was a little bit hurt, but then he said to me, he said, there's a nice dog in the nurseries there and it's for sale, you should buy it. And I said, no, I don't want to buy a dog that's already trained, because I want to learn how he got there.
Exactly.
And like you said, so I bought, then he found the dog for me, and the dog was stone crazy. It was one of the hardest dogs I ever owned. But I learned so much from him, and then like you said, but then I knew how to handle a dog. So then if I got a more valuable dog, well, at least I knew what to do with him. And I think that's really good advice for anybody.
It's a hard dog. If you broke this dog, it will be live dog. It's for live dog.
Yeah.
You know, people, they always looking for easy.
Yes.
And that easy, I saw it most of the time. He start lovely curves, lovely outruns, but that's in a year and a half or 12 months old dog.
Yes.
Imagine when he go 3-4 years, how wide he will be.
Yes.
He will be ruined completely. And I'm sure you are more experienced than me, and you saw this a lot of times. He start well and he end up bad. You know, there's a lot of dogs, you see them in the nurseries, but they don't finish in the open trials. That's it. The nursery is the last, you know, place for them.
Yeah. And what do you think, Omar? You think that maybe sometimes you'd be better to try a dog that's maybe a little bit tight, or maybe not perfect, or has some little faults, because when you spend a bit of time fixing them, well, you understand how to fix them. But do you think you might have a better dog in the long run? Yeah,
you know, you get a dog, you know, you get a dog, he's moving. He's not sticking, you know, and a dog willing to work. The spark, you know, when you get the spark in that dog, you can't do anything.
Yes.
There's no late,
So tell me, what are the things that when you see in a young dog, you think, oh, no, I don't think he's for me? What things do you not like to see? If they're a little bit too nice, you think, oh...
he goes straight on the sheep.
You like that or don't like
No, I don't like it.
it? Yes.
Go straight on the sheep. I like little bit think. You know, he will think, even if he's little bit take right or left.
Yes.
That means he's thinking.
Yeah.
You know, there is something in his blood.
Yes.
You can take it farther. You know, but he's go straight. I don't like.
Yes.
You know, I like even if he don't do much, but he's walking and the head down. That's what I like. You know, I flat style. I don't like. You know, flat style dog. You know, four-leggers I call them.
What do you call them?
Four-leggers.
Yeah. And
You
why?
know.
And what's a four-legger? Explain that to me.
It's just like the head up
Yeah. A bit ordinary.
and the tail halfway up, and he you know, he's just like I see him. They got after a while they get confused and they keep turn the head on you.
Yes.
No focus on the sheep.
Yes. Yes. Well, come here. That's very interesting. And thanks for talking to me today. Now.
Thank you.
And for me now, it's a privilege to meet a fella from Iraq. Like I never get to meet somebody new like that.
Thank you.
And
Thank
I'm
you.
delighted that you found your way into sheepdogs.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I look forward to beating you.
Always. Always. Thank you.